Hi, I'm Michael Niemeyer. I'm a software engineer at Wadsworth Controls. We're just going to do a basic overview of the graphing in Seed. So there are a few ways to get to the graphing menu. First is go up to this top bar icon, click it, and then you can go into the graphing page. This will load a blank graph. At least the first time you click it, it'll load the other graphs the other times. The other ways is to click on the sun icon. This will graph all your weather data for the last day by default. And then next is if you go into the zone, you go up to this gear in the corner. In the first option, the graph zone data, this will load a graph with all of your zone traits and equipment. And then the final way to enter a graph is once you're in your zone page here, you can click on a specific equipment like this exhaust fan and go to the gear icon again and graph the equipment data. This will graph all the sensors that this equipment looks at. Okay, so now we're just going to go into the graphing menu. To clear a graph and restart from scratch, we can just click this trash can and it'll just clear the graph, reset it to the last day, and all the data will be removed. So to load in data, you go to this key icon. This will bring down a drop down of all the equipment and sensors that are available to graph. So we're just going to create a quick graph of zone 1 here. So we'll start by adding the temperature and RH for the zone. I'll load those two lines. And for this, we're just going to view the last 14 hours. To do that, just hold the x-axis. This will bring this pop-up to select the date range. Here you can choose the amount of time you want to have graphed. So you could choose the last 14 hours, or you can go select a fixed range to choose a specific time and day to graph. We do the last 14 hours. It'll look like that. And then we can go into the equipment again. And we want to graph the set points to see how our temperatures and RH is doing compared to what we set it to. So we'll add in the temperature set points, and we'll add in the RH set points. You can see those are the dotted lines on the graph. Now to make this a bit more readable, you can change the colors of these set point lines. So if you want to make it a bit lighter, you could just set it here. You can also change the line style. So if we wanted it to be a dashed line, you just do that. We can do the same for the others. Okay, so there it's a bit easier to see the graph. You can also graph equipment. So here's a exhaust fan, and just showing this overlay at the top. If you add more equipment, like the irrigation valve and the unit heater, these will also be shown over here. You can expand it to see the full name. You can also move this up and down to kind of align it to where you want to see, or turn them off. To view the data more closely, you can select this target icon up here, and this will bring a pop-up displaying you the temperatures. So here you can see my exhaust fan is on until the temperature is 1 degree below the set point line, and then it turns off for the rest of the time. So now that we have this graph, you might want to save it so you can quickly load it in another day, another time. So you just go to the save icon up here. You can add a name it zone 1. You can optionally add a description. You can also save it for a different amount of time than what you have set, but we'll just set it for the same amount of time. So now if you go in, just delete the graph, you can load this graph by clicking this icon here, and it'll load in the exact same graph that you just had. And then if there's some data that you want to further export, save, or look at in Excel, you can click on this download icon. This will export the data to a CSV file. You can just enter a name here, and just choose the export interval. This will be how often you want the data to be seen. Then just push OK, and you'll get a CSV format, which you can import into other software like Excel. There are a few other ways of like moving around in the graph. So this icon up here, if it's this mode, then this will allow you to pan around the graph. So you can load in data from the past and just move. Here we can't really see where the temperature has gone. So if you double click on the y-axis, it will auto zoom the graph so you can see all the data. If you go back into this mode, you can then select this blue box to zoom into a specific section of data. So say I want to zoom into only this temperature data at this time. You can just zoom in there and it'll only load that temperature data at that time. Thank you for watching. You can contact sales@Wadsworth Controls for more information or a demo.